Hey, so Arborea 1.4 released today, and one of the new features is the user library. So this has probably been one of the most heavily requested features I've had for a while. So I'm super excited that this is going to actually be part of Arborea now. So in this video, I just want to show you how you can set up your own user library in Arborea. I'm probably not going to set up my entire user library from start to finish, but I'll probably do like a few different categories and just show you kind of the basics of how you can do this yourself. So the first thing you're going to want to do is go to the preferences and then add-ons, Arborea, and then underneath the asset library setup, there is a new user library section. So click this folder right here, and then this will bring you to the file browser, and then just go to wherever you want to create your user library folder, preferably a hard drive that has enough space to store assets on, of course, and then create a new folder, something called like Arborea user library or whatever you want to call it. This is going to be the folder where Arborea saves your user assets. So of course, make sure there's enough space for this. Click accept and save your preferences, and then you will be good to go. All right. So I'm going to open up the windowed browser over here. You can either use the hotkey or you can click this button right here and then choose a window to dock this. So I have this over here on the left. And then in Arborea 1.4, you're going to see this new dropdown at the top left of the categories. This is going to be the library source. So you can choose whatever library you want, Arborea, user library, or, view all of them. I'm just going to choose this to keep everything simple. And I cleared everything out of my library just so I could start fresh for this video. This is probably going to be what you see as well. No assets found because we haven't saved anything or created a library. So my main goal for this user library is to make saving assets quick and easy and just like a one-step process. Blender's native browser is kind of annoying for me, at least, to save assets. It's not necessarily hard or anything, but it's kind of tedious. And if you want to just save like one asset quickly, just out of random, it's just kind of like multiple annoying steps just for like one quick thing. In Arborea, it doesn't matter what file you're in, what other assets are in that file, whether it's like a brand new empty blend file or a final render you're working on. All you have to do is just select an asset or multiple assets. Then you can right click, add to Arborea library, or click one of these buttons in the browser, which does the same exact thing. So I'm just going to do right click because that's the quickest for me. So right click, add to library, and then it's there permanently in the Arborea browser. So any changes you make too, so if you organize or, edit the asset, those will be permanently there. And it doesn't matter if you save the blend file you're in, or if you're in like a random blend file, those changes still take place no matter what. So this character right here is just like my scale character. I throw this character around my scenes just to make sure everything is scaled right. So I'm just going to put this character inside of a characters category. So to create a new category, all has this plus icon. This will just create a new empty category. I'm going to double click to rename this characters. There we go. And then if I want to move this character into that category, I can select the character. So you can do control click to select an asset and then just drop that character into here. And now you can see the characters inside of this category, and that character is there permanently. So I don't have to save the blend file or anything. It's just there permanently now. Okay, let me just go through some of my packs that are already saved in my Blender browser just to show you how you can do this pretty quickly. Let me go to my Gothic asset pack. So I'll go over here. I'm just going to go to this blend file just so I have all of the assets in here already to select quickly. So I'm just going to right click, select all these assets. There we go. I think this is like 60 or something. You can do as many as you want. So yeah, 59. So as you can see right here, you can do this in bulk. It might take like 10 to 30 seconds if it's like a super heavy pack. But yeah, select your assets, right click, add to library, and then just wait for it to load. If Blender's not responding, it's most likely not crashing. It's just saving all of the assets to whatever directory you chose. So as you see, that took me like 10 seconds. Now if I go into the user library, I'm going to go to uncategorized, and you're going to see everything is there. I'm going to exit out of here. I'll organize in the other file. So nothing's showing right now because I need to refresh my library. But if you want to do that, you can just basically click this refresh browser button and then let me go to uncategorized, and then your assets are going to show. Okay, so let's create a new category called architecture because this is an architecture pack. So I'm just going to click plus category. Let me double click and rename that architecture. And then I don't want to put this just in architecture. I want to actually organize this more. So as you can see, when I select a category, a plus shows. This creates a subcategory. So as you can see now, it's a dropdown. So this is the parent, folder, and then this is the subfolder or subcategory. I can double click to rename this Gothic asset pack. There we go. And then let me go back to uncategorized. Since I just uploaded only the Gothic pack, everything inside of here is just going to go to that folder. I can either shift select, and this is going to, select within a range. So if I, as you saw right there, I selected this, and it selected everything in between. You can either do that, or you can just select all in category. In whatever category you're in, it's going to automatically select every asset in there. And then I'm just going to click this move to category button with those selected. And now, as you see, I have that in the Gothic Asset Pack folder. You can also expand this, by the way, with just clicking and dragging like this. Let me do one more pack. So let me go over here, Max Hay. This is my collaboration kit with him. I'm just going to open up this blend file because I don't want to have to, click and drag like 100 different assets into my file to save. So this is the quickest option. Okay, yeah. So as you can see, there's a lot of assets in here. I'm just going to select all in that folder, right click, save 139 assets to Arborea. This one will probably take like 20 to 30 seconds. It's a lot of assets. Okay, that's saved. And then if I go to the user library, you're going to see all of those assets showed up inside of here. I'm just going to organize that in the other file, just so I don't have all this other stuff in here. But let me go to uncategorized and refresh. And now all of the assets are showing. So same thing as before, I'll select architecture, click the plus, create a new category called Sweeper 3D X Max A. There we go. And since everything in this uncategorized folder right now is going to go to this pack right here, I can just do the select all in category button and then send that over to Sweeper 3D X Max Hay. Might take a sec the first time you click a category, by the way, to load, just because it has to transfer over. So there might be like a 5-second, delay that first time you click that category. But then after that, everything is loaded fine. But yeah, as you can see, these categories are all sorted now. And then if I do all, we have these all here together, 200 assets. Okay, let's do one more. So I have this Cliffs and Rock collection right here. Let me just drag a few of these inside of this file. Okay, so I'm just going to select these and then right click, save these 9 assets. And now these are saved in here. Let's do a new collection and I'm going to call this Nature. And then click the plus in here to create a new subcategory. And I'm just going to do like Cliffs and Rocks. There we go, Cliffs and Rocks. Let's send those over here. I'm just going to do shift select and then shift select down here, move those from uncategorized to Cliffs and Rocks. And now we have those organized in here. So in terms of creating folders and organizing my library, I think this is good for now. I think I've covered enough on that end for you guys to understand how to do this. These subfolders, you can go as deep as you want. You can add more subfolders inside of subfolders. If you want to extend the section, you can just click and drag, of course. All right, so now if you want to just like edit the info of these assets, like say you want to change the name, or you want to give it like a custom tag, or you want to give it one of the like Arborea seasons or like style tags, I'll show you how you can do that now. Let me just drag in this tree. I'll just create a new library asset for that. Let's go in here. I'm just going to create trees. There we go. Send that to trees. So say I want to give this the like autumn tag, even though this is just like a normal summer tree, I'm just going to give it the autumn tag though. So the way I could do this is I could either go here, edit asset, or over here, edit asset, or right here, edit asset. So this will just enable the edit asset mode where you can edit as many assets as you want at once, or just one individual asset. So once this is enabled right here, you can select an asset, you can, change the name, click enter, and now the name is changed. You can change the thumbnail. You can choose an image on your hard drive. I also am working on a certain function where you can actually render out your own. You can just click render cycles and it will give you a high quality preview inside of here. But I need to still work on a few things before that is a feature that's implemented inside of the final release. But yeah, if you want to add like a seasons tag, just click autumn or summer or winter. If I want to give it like realistic tag, you can do so there. And then say I want to add like a custom tag. So you can click this plus. It creates a new tag, double click to rename this. I'm just going to say something like, I don't know, trees. There we go. And then you can just click this check mark to enable that tag. And if you want to delete it, click this icon right here, delete. I'm going to keep that though. And then that's how you can give it custom tags, change the name, choose the thumbnail. I'm going to exit out of edit asset mode and then deselect this asset. So I'm just going to click this X right here. And then if I go to all, choose this tag right here. Now you can see I sorted by that tag. Okay, So you saw earlier, you can just, click this drop down to either open up blend file, edit asset, add to favorites, or delete asset. And of course, it will give you this delete or cancel. I'm just going to cancel because I don't actually want to delete that. If you want to delete a category, just select that category, click this drop down, delete category. It'll ask you if you want to move assets that are inside of that category to uncategorized, or if you want to delete the category and its assets. And also I should mention, if you're doing this in the pop-up, edit asset mode is on the right side rather than the left side. And this is because, well, Blender doesn't actually let me add a right side sidebar in this stocked windowed browser. So that's just not a possibility. I have to do it over here. And this is just like a custom pop-up, so I can if I want to. But also size is a bit more limited with this pop-up. So if I put that over here, it would extend this in a weird way. So I just created a right side sidebar for all of this, and everything works the exact same. As you can see, everything from selecting, editing, everything is still the same. I can add the trees tag. I can remove a tag if I want. I can delete the tag if I want. I can give these realistic fantasy. I can choose thumbnails. And let me go over a few of the new options as well. As you saw, we can actually select objects now, and there's some options that show up when you select things. So let me select this book, and then actually I'm going to select all of these books. So just shift select between here, and you're going to see these new options show up when you have something selected. So you can import all selected. There's going to be some more options that come with that later. You can scatter all selected, add to active system, swap system. So this will allow you to select any random object. So like you can select as many random objects as you want, and then add those into a brand new system, add those into an active system, or swap whatever assets you're using in the selected system with those new selected assets. So let me set this as an emitter, and then I can do scatter all. And it's going to create a new scatter system with those assets. I guess I have it set to manual mode right now. So let me just paint these in real fast. Now you can see I'm scattering all of these assets, which of course is like a weird selection of assets, but you can do so. Let me clear that selection and say I want to just swap all of these assets out. So as you can see, I'm scattering all these assets, and let's say I want to clear all of these assets out, keep the same settings. Like say I like this wave setting right here, like this, but I don't like the assets. I want them to be these benches. I can just select these benches right here. I can just do scatter, swap system, and it keeps all of the same settings, but just swaps the assets. And then of course, I want to add like this book stack in here. Let me clear that selection. I'll do this. And then you can also access this on the sidebar. If you scroll down, these are the same things, swap system, or let me actually undo. I'm going to do add to active system. And now we just added those to the system. So yeah, if you're at the top, we have this bar over here. And then if you scroll down, we just have this, same thing, accessible anywhere. Also, if you're, going through and you're selecting certain assets like this, and then you want to see what assets you have selected in total, you can just click this right here, view selected, and then it's just going to only show what assets you have selected. So this is just going to show your selection and your selection only. Click it again, and then it's going to show, the entire library. You can, of course, also go through all, and then this will show your library mixed in with the Arborea browser library. So you can go through, work with my assets or your assets together and, access them from one place. And yeah, this will give you access to all of the Arborea browser's features for your own library, such as being able to import as linked if you want, which will save a bunch of memory. That's the default for Arborea. You can also use the asset swapping now too, because it's an Arborea asset. So that will allow you to, just quickly swap out assets without, changing the transform. So if I want this to be a book stack, I can literally just alt click the import button and it keeps the same transforms. So this is helpful for like if you're, say, working on your foreground composition or something, you have like a tree right here and you realize you want to try a different one. You can just alt click import and it's just going to swap while keeping the same transform. So you can test different assets in the same exact place really easily. But yeah, I think that covers everything for the user library. This is still a work in progress. There's a lot of things I do want to add and adjust with this. If you guys have any ideas to make this more fun to use or more like convenient to use, let me know. I'm going to continue to keep on working on this and building off of this. But yeah, hopefully this helps, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video.